So, we in that new year, new me season.
Yes.
But a lot of us still have some of the same goals from 2023. And a lot of y'all, and I know for sure because y'all came up to me and asked,
You
a
did.
lot of y'all wanted to start a podcast.
Yes.
I got good news for you, player. Spotify for podcasts is here for every need you have.
We've been using Spotify for podcasters since we started our podcast. It's so easy. You literally record, edit, and upload all from your phone, your computer. So no matter what your setup looks like, you can start now.
Yes, get your conversations, your opinion, your views out to the world. People need to hear you.
You can distribute your podcast to Spotify and anywhere else that podcasts are heard.
With Spotify for podcasters, you can earn money in a multitude of ways. Ads or podcast subscriptions. I mean, it's an easy way to get your visions out to the world and earn some extra pocket change.
Yeah, my favorite thing about all of this is free 99.
Yes. They don't charge you a dime. So you really got nothing holding you back. Today, not tomorrow, today. Let's be heard. Spotify for podcasters.
Let's be seen. Welcome back to another episode of the For the Healthy Host podcast,
where we talk about conscious living, self-awareness, and everything in between.
I'm your host, Ree.
Sunset Tim.
Thank you so much for joining us and allowing us to be a part of your journey.
Yes.
I don't know why every time I hear you say the intro, I get giggly. Whenever
I don't know why.
I don't know why. I think when we do the intro in general, I just get really excited.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling amazing.
Every time you talk about how you feel, it makes me laugh.
Why?
I don't know, but it's something hilarious about it. I don't know why, because it'd be like I already kind of know. I've been here with you. We live together.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
At first I was feeling anxious. I think whenever we sit down when I know we're about to sit down and record this podcast, there are feelings of anxiety. But then when we actually sit here, I feel comfortable in my zone, feel like home. But also I'm feeling really good because we are included in Apple Podcasts Women's History Month collection.
That is dope. It's amazing when you go on Apple and you see your old lady right there. That's crazy.
Yeah, my face.
Yes, it's an amazing thing. I'm so proud of you and everything you have done out here. So I just want to give you your flowers right now.
Thank you. I'm proud of us. I could never do any of this without you. And it just feels unreal. It's inspiring, motivating for us to keep going, I think. Because I would have never imagined,
something like this.
Yeah, something like this. And I hope it's motivation for, our listeners to just show up as yourself, and you can go so far with that.
Yes, keep going.
Anywho, how are you?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very motivated. I told you I had the Gold Eagle dream.
You did.
So I'm real hyped right now.
You never told me what it meant, though.
I still won't tell you what it means.
Why? I mean,
the eagle came to me. To me.
I want to be happy with you about the
You
Gold
can be
Eagle.
happy with me. Just see the smile on my face and you
and feel that energy. Okay.
Yeah. I can't tell you why he left a message for me.
It's a simple Google.
It is, but I hope you don't Google it. Anyway, yeah, I feel good. I'm highly motivated. How y'all feeling out there?
Let us know how you're feeling, please.
Hey, some of y'all, when y'all really let us know how y'all feeling, we be excited to read those.
We really do.
Some of y'all have me hollering with some of the things that y'all say, though. I can't lie. Some of y'all, I know you might not be mean to be funny, but I just didn't know you was gonna keep it real with me like that when I called you at that moment. But I love it though. Just keep it up though. We love to hear it. I really do. Y'all motivate us so much, that's a cool little experience right there.
Yeah, and I somewhat feel seen when they tell us, when they keep it 100, how they're doing, because I feel like everybody, the bland answer is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, but for them to be vulnerable with us,
it's like the greatest lie of all time too.
I'm fine.
You know how many people say I'm doing fine when they absolutely wasn't doing fine? That is like the greatest lie in our culture right there. I'm doing good today. I'm fine.
The greatest and the most common, but
absolutely
feels good for them to keep it a buck with us.
Yes. And what we rapping about today?
Today we're talking about shame
Shame, y'all.
and vulnerability.
And vulnerability. How they play together.
Absolutely.
Fuck, I hate shame.
You hate shame?
Yeah, I hate being shamed. I mean, who do like it? I just think back all the times I was ever shamed in my life. God damn, I just want to shut the fucking door. I just want to shut the door. Like, and not go back out. God damn.
What do you, when you think about shame, what do you like define it as? Like, what does that look like for you?
Unexpected exposure is what I feel like shame is. When you get put on the spot, or something is brought out of you, or a situation is brought up unexpectedly, is what I would define as shame. Ultimately, shame comes from lack. That 4-letter word is a bomb in your spirituality. It always, like, everything kind of always triggers back to lacking of something. But I definitely think that shame is present for everybody in something that you've done, or something that just kind of like happened. We all got a little bit of shame about something.
Yeah. I'm waiting to ask me.
I kind of thought you was gonna lead into it. So
I could have done that.
What is shame to you?
I think shame happens on different levels. I think sometimes, we have the surface level shame. Like, I fell. Mm-hmm. I fell in front of a lot of people,
real
right?
Simple.
But I think the deep-rooted shame that has the ability to kind of like haunt us and affect our experience on earth and our relationships with other people is the shame that we're talking about today.
Yeah, absolutely. The big stuff.
Yes, the big stuff.
The shit that keeps you back or holds you back from certain opportunities or certain outlets that you would like to be a part of, but you just too ashamed to show.
Right. This is random.
What's gonna happen?
Will you marry me? I'm just kidding. No, but I had planned on saying this last episode. Your girl was out of it. I wanted to say this in the beginning, but I'm gonna say this now.
Yeah, you said the last episode you was out of it though.
I don't need to say it again.
You can say it again for sure. Let them know, like, if you feel like you was really like.
I'm ashamed about it. I'm ashamed. And if you listen to that entire episode, you're a real one. That's all I really want to say.
Yeah, fuck with you.
Fuck with you the long way. So I kind of want to get into our personal experiences when it comes to shame. Yeah. And I don't know, I'm kind of scared to talk about it, but because, like, this is really deep. Like, the things, what I have to say, I know what you're talking. I don't really know what's going on in your mind when you're going to talk about, like, your shame. Like, we converse about what we're going to talk about briefly, but they're hearing it, we're hearing it for the first time. But I've replayed this over and over in my head again about what I want to say about my experience, and it's pretty deep, and it's deep for me. It's unpacking and releasing a lot for me. So I'm kind of scared.
Okay, I got you, babe. I'm here for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, how do I start it off? My heart is literally beating.
Yeah, because I don't know what's going to come out your mouth either. So I'm waiting.
The thing about shame, it may not be a lot to you or a big deal to you, but it's a big deal to me. And that's another thing when thinking about shame. I also think about trying to save face. I think a lot of times shame is based on how we think other people perceive us. We want to be perceived in a certain way. And a lot of times, like, are we really, the things that we're ashamed about, like, are we really ashamed of that? You know what I'm saying? Are we overthinking it? And are we really ashamed? If you take out the perceptions of other people and what other people think of you.
Yeah, where's your shame
in society? Like, are you really ashamed? So I think shame has to do with, or I think the expectations and perceptions, other people's perceptions have to do with shame a lot for us personally, You
gonna pull that shame out, or we just?
I think I'm procrastinating, so I'm about to get to the shame.
So I think you dancing around. You want me to go first?
I'll go first. If you're not new here, you may have heard me mention this before, but I we had a child at a very young age, 19 years old. And I want to give a little bit of a backstory to it. Again, I was in college, 19 years old, when I found out that I was pregnant. And trigger warning, just to be, completely honest, we planned on getting an abortion. Well, not even me. I wanted an abortion, and you were like just very supportive throughout that whole process.
I was, what they call it? I was pro-choice before it was like a popular thing.
Yeah.
I just thought a man had no. I thought it wasn't my right to say you should or should not have the baby. So I left that decision up to you, but I did let you know that I favored keeping.
You did. And yeah, I literally cried every day. I don't up until we decided not to go through with the abortion. But I literally cried every single day. I was just so scared. I couldn't even I don't even have really the words to describe what I was feeling or you know what I'm saying? But cried every single day up until I thought I was going to get an abortion. You were with me. I thought that I was going to get an abortion. Anyway, we go in there, and they give us an ultrasound.
Yep.
And I really feel like it was a place it was a women's clinic.
Yeah, it was
women, because I'm really trying to wrap my head around what it was.
But
they show us our baby. And by the time I found out that I was pregnant, I was actually 3 months. I feel like when we're younger, we don't, specifically me, I didn't know my body the way that I know it now. When my period is about to come, I know it's about to come based on how I'm feeling, just because I'm more self-aware. But you didn't agree to that because you don't. I
don't get periods. So
okay.
I was pretty yeah. I mean, I have no experience with that. I'm pretty
yeah.
aware.
I'm just laughing because you usually
the only thing I got to worry about is getting bloated.
Yeah,
that's about the hardest thing as a man. So, sorry you had to deal with this.
It's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. And when we saw our baby, I was just like, yeah, no, it was no way in hell that I could go through with it. And just fast forwarding to, okay, now I'm deciding to keep my child. I called my mother. And it's just like the world has fucking ended. She's like, no, oh my God, no. And I felt like growing up, I was a pretty smart girl and a quote unquote good girl, did everything that I was supposed to do. And my mother kind of made getting pregnant feel like the worst thing that I could possibly do. And I did that thing. I did the worst thing that I could possibly do.
Yeah.
And based on that, that's where my shame came from.
You let your mom down?
I let her down, and I felt like I was viewed in a particular way, like I wasn't a good girl. Like I said, even growing up where we from, getting pregnant, that's a big deal. That's I think in society.
In society it's a big deal, but still where we were from, it was a pretty big deal. And in the time period, I think, where it took place, we was fresh out of high school. I don't want to tell the story. I'm gonna let you tell it, but
no, you keep going because this is your story too.
But yeah, it was a big deal. We were out of our group of friends or people that graduated in our in our time period, we was the first ones that had a kid. And they have them now, but our kid could watch their kid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it was a big thing, and nobody expected it out of me or her.
Facts.
At all. She was in college. I was just young and working. I think I had actually just applied for college when we got the news, and both of us were rocked by it. I wasn't as of course, a man, I have different privileges. Well, I didn't have to think about the choice of keeping you or not. It was really up to you, and I really just had to kind of be a bystander, but be as supportive as possible. And I was just waiting for the outcome. I didn't necessarily know which way we would swing. Every day it was kind of left or right. We would go back and forth. And then it got to a point where you didn't really tell me or update me no more what was going to happen. So I was just kind of I knew the date we was going to go see the doctor. So I was just well, that day I'll know something. And like you said, we saw our baby in the ultrasound. It was the cutest thing of all time.
I know, she was sucking her thumb.
She sucked her thumb. It was I don't know. I don't know. It was the cutest thing of all time. And like I said, we knew when we walked out, we didn't say anything to each other.
No, we never
until we
did.
got in the car. And I remember the first thing you said was, I gotta keep this baby. That was the first thing. You was just like, after we saw her, we just couldn't unsee her. We couldn't go through with an abortion at that time after we saw our baby.
Yeah. Best decision.
It was the best decision that we either of us have ever made. Aubrey, that's our oldest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Aubrielle is she like the dopest kid of all time, and she like shaped and transformed us. Like, I don't know who I would be if we didn't have her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about me. Like, if you take that time period of my life out, because it's such a big thing. She taught me so much and made so much out of me that I don't know what I look like without her.
Exactly. And that shame really had a huge effect on my experience as a mother. Like, just that reaction from my mother, like, I will never forget that. That will live with me for the rest of my life. You know, in a good way and in a bad way. In the past, it has been in a bad, negative way. Yeah, it just, having a child at a young age and the shame that came with that, it made me feel like I always have something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right after we had her, probably not even 6-7 months, I went right back to college.
Yeah,
I actually think I was in college while I was
like, in college the entire time. You never stopped.
Well, see, we moved back home, but I was taking classes online.
Yeah.
But then we ended up moving back
home,
to college town. Yeah.
College town.
The college town. I don't want nobody to know where we at. We in Arkansas.
Yeah, we in Arkansas. Goddamn. But now. But go ahead.
But I'm ashamed about that.
Shame about that.
I am shit. We are in Arkansas. How did it happen to me?
Made it work though.
But yeah, so I feel like that the diehard in me, the ambition in me got even stronger when I became a mother. But maybe for the wrong reasons though. Like, I wanted to prove to people that, okay, having a baby did not stop me. This motivated me. And I think it was a driving force for me, finishing college. Definitely made me feel like I had something to prove. To this day, I always, like, just being a black woman alone, I feel like I have something to prove.
And raising one.
Bruh.
And raising one, feel like you got something to show.
God, a whole nother topic.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't feel like I've ever I know I didn't embrace my pregnancy. And I don't feel like I've embraced motherhood just up until recently. Mm-hmm. It's been crazy because the more I've learned about myself, that's why when we talk about like self-awareness and just getting to know yourself on deeper levels, it's about you, but it's about those around you as well. Uh-huh. Because I've been able to get to know me and really think about and understand my experiences, my trauma, my shame, I've been able to be a better mother. Mm-hmm. It was literally just the other day, I was sitting in the bed with both girls. I was holding Zuri and Aubrey was kind of just laying on me. And I was just like, whoa, I'm a mother and I like it. It feels good.
Yes. And
I don't think I would have been able to get to this point if I hadn't uncovered layers, and you know what I'm saying, and hadn't been on this healing journey and just experiencing myself. And I talked about this before in one of my other podcasts on season 2, but just a book, the book I'm talking about, If Bill Street Could Talk.
Yes, absolutely.
And you read it after me.
Yes, after you.
Okay, just to let it be known. But did you roll your eyes at me?
No.
Okay. Okay, but yeah, I'm just, y'all, this is us in real life. But Tish's, the main character in the book, her mom's response was, don't you dare go thinking you a bad girl. Like when she told her mother she was pregnant,
Yes.
what are you crying for? Don't you dare go thinking you a bad girl. And that response alone
Yes.
it healed a part of my experience. And up until that moment, I didn't realize that I thought I was a bad girl. I'm a grown woman, and I thought I was a bad girl based on something that happened to me 10 years ago. So yeah, because I'm learning more about myself, I'm able to be a better mother and really be conscious of the experience of motherhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
I am able to love my daughters and you unconditionally because I'm finally getting to a point in my life where I'm beginning to love myself unconditionally. Although that isn't the love that I experienced, I'm finally starting to experience it for myself and hoping that, of course, my daughters feel that unconditional love. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and they do.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, that's kind of my experience with, one of the most deep-rooted shames of my experience. Can you tell us about your experience with shame, Mr. Sunset?
Absolutely. And then just to lean onto your shame story, like, because during that time period, we both having shame, but different kind of
Yeah.
shames.
I actually didn't know you were shamed about it.
I wasn't shamed about having a kid. I was shamed about to an extent, a little bit, like, because like, you hear when you young, I don't know why, but like the thing is like people brag about not having children.
People do
People
that.
people brag about not having children. So when I was a person who had a kid, I of course I had to assume that I had did something wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? That I had somehow failed something that I didn't even know I was being tested for. That, and then just like the entire time, like, and still to this day, like being a dad, like you had that fear of being inadequate, not having enough for your kids. Financially is one of the things like you think of as a dad, like all the time, like you gonna have enough to give them the life you think that they need or deserve. Can you take care of your family is like something that goes through every dad's head, like 24/7, and especially for a young person. In general, like you already like trying to figure life out
Right.
for yourself. And now you got to figure it out for you, your lady, and your child. So I was like definitely shaming points that I didn't have certain things for y'all. But I was so young. How could I have them?
And then coming from where we,
Yeah, coming from where we come from, how could I have them? Like that was my biggest shame at that time period. But the shame that I was gonna release today was 30. It's just that number, like 30. I am
30.
I am over the age of 30. And the shame when I think about, being older, it usually comes, that shame is rooted in expectations. I don't know if they're society based, family based, or just from me. But most times when you think of somebody in their 30s or how society has put it, they have things. Their life is together. They have the nice home, the nice car,
Right.
the career that they want, the partner that they want, the spouse. Everything is like kind of in order. And when you don't have those things and you hit 30, it could bring this kind of almost like metal rain falling on top of you almost every day to remind you that somehow you're still on this path.
Yeah, it can feel like a ticking clock.
Yeah,
like,
there's always a clock going. And it's always pressure that you add on to yourself just because you're at a certain age and you think you should have certain things. That has been one of my shames for the longest, to think about my age. It has held me back from so many things, saying things, doing things. It's been such a wall for me to have to get over. And especially with like rapping. Rap is like viewed as a young man sport. You know what I mean? The rappers, maybe 17 years old, 18 years old, 19, in Lambo trucks and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking at as far as like my career wise when I look at the age of 30. some of when I was younger, I used to see this a lot because again, I was a young dad. We just gave that story. Um, I would be like 22, pulling up to like my daughter's events at schools, and you know all the other dads are older. Um they're older, they're more established in life than I am, and they got like the dad mobiles, the Suburbans, the Tahoes, and things of that nature. And I'm just looking like, damn, you know what I mean? I'm just 22 years old and just comparing myself to the dads in the room, which we know comparison can shut everything down in a heartbeat. Um, Shame is just like growing inside me for not having these certain things at this age. And the pressure just mounts up sometimes it just mounts up every day. And I started to the point where I think I got to about 28 or 27 is when I started to hate seeing my birthday.
Really?
I fucking hated all my birthdays. I hated seeing the day. You know, you 21, you like, it's my 21, you know what I mean? Everybody's happy. They turn 21,
Yeah.
23, your Jordan year and shit like that. You know what I mean? The 30, what's it called, the dirty 30 or whatever it is, it don't hit the same, you know what I mean?
I disagree though. I think some people
No, I'm just talking about me.
Okay,
This is
okay,
about
for
me.
you.
Yeah.
It is about you.
This is about my shame, like, and not having certain things at 30. If I had certain things at 30, then this would not be a shame for me.
I got you.
You
So
know what I
it's
mean?
like a lack.
Yeah, it's like the expectations of everything at this age has brought shame onto it. If I had everything that I wanted at that age, there would be no shame. I'd have happily, wore my age like a badge. But when you don't got it, it can kind
For
of
what you think you should have.
think I should have.
Yeah.
It can kind of pull you down, and it did that for me for a very long time, to the point where I said I don't even like to see my birthday come up on the calendar. I don't even like to look at the month of July at all. I don't like to see it no more because of that number.
Today's episode is sponsored by our partners, Athletic Greens. If you know me, you know that I am really big on my health, mind, body, soul. And although I do my best to live a pretty balanced lifestyle, eat pretty healthy, get movement in, life happens and things don't always go as planned. AG1 by Athletic Greens literally gives me that peace of mind and helps fill in the gaps when it comes to my overall well-being. And it's been a really, really easy thing to implement into my morning routines. If this is your first time hearing about AG1 by Athletic Greens, in a nutshell, it's daily nutrients and is super beneficial to your long-term gut health. AG1 is way more than greens. It's all of your key health products like multivitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more working together as one. It's made with 75 super high quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source ingredients that deliver benefits like mood, immune system and sleep support, sustained energy, and so much more.
So if you want to take ownership of your health, today is a good day to start. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/healthyhost. That's athleticgreens.com/healthyhost. Check it out.
I think no one can expect us to have it all figured out by a certain age, especially 30. 30 is literally still a baby.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
young.
I know people try to
seem like it's old, but as a person who's turned 30,
yeah, I've turned 30 as well. I'm 30.
It happens in a flash. It really does happen really quickly. It seemed like it don't, but believe me, you're gonna get older and you'll see what I'm saying. It happens pretty fucking fast.
Yeah.
And coming from the backgrounds we come from, I know now, like, I shouldn't have been expected to have these things.
Absolutely
But
not.
we know with I don't know if it's the capitalist, society that we live in, or just, how things are put on the males, like in like male culture. I don't know where it's rooted in, but we definitely all feel like by 30 you should have it together.
I think it's most of us do.
Yeah, most of us do.
I definitely think that. And just thinking back to what you said about like creativity, like it makes you, I definitely think you saying it, but a lot of people, like, because of their age, it holds them back from doing so much because they may feel like, oh, I don't need to be doing X, Y, Z at this age. But I think that as long as you let the inner child inside of you live, and the inner child of you wants to create.
Absolutely.
The inner child of you wants to be an artist. You know what I'm saying? Wants to do all of these fun things. Long as you let that inner child live, you will be forever young. You know what I'm saying? Getting older is not a bad thing. It's not, it doesn't have to be this,
life-ending thing. Like I asked myself when I started to like heal from this shame, like what do you expect? What did you expect to just fall off the cliff when you hit 30? Like everything goes downhill from 30.
Literally.
And,
I think,
and it's actually the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I've never been smarter. I've never
looked this good.
I never looked this good
in my life.
Like, it's been the exact opposite of what I thought 30 would be for me.
I think because we had this conversation before where, how am I going to put this? The people that we saw when we was younger and they were 30, it didn't look like this. It wasn't people. Yeah. It wasn't people who were self-conscious and aware of themselves and, following their passions. It was people who didn't take care of themselves, living in the program, not conscious of life, not conscious of themselves. And hopefully, these people have healed from them. They're learning more about themselves and hopefully they're happy. Mm-hmm. But 30, like just in adulthood in general, didn't look like following your dreams. It didn't look like following your passions. It didn't look like a podcast. It didn't look like artistry, a rapper, a YouTube channel. It didn't look like that.
No, it looked like a corporate job, a tie, a cubicle, and you fucking found a way to be happy with that.
Exactly. It's so funny. And I think that you're going to try to say this is me trying to put in like people think I'm younger than what I am. But I mean, anyway, when I went to the store the other day, I told you about this, right?
Go ahead.
The girl, she had a Telfie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your Telfar bag. Like, I've been trying to get one forever, blah, blah, blah. Then she asked me, do you go to the college here? And I'm like, girl.
This motherfucker.
Girl, I'm 30. And everybody was just so shocked. Like, from her to the cashiers that, that we have conversations with every time we come in there. And the guy, he told me, he was like, you literally don't look 30, but not only that, you don't act it. You act youthful. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like sometimes adulthood is equated to, like, not, like, I want to use the word sadness and,
what I think it is like you said, you hit the age of 30 and you're lacking, and you actually start to become in the hood they always be like motherfucker miserable. You know what I mean? But like what it is like you start to become very harsh with your judgment of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because you are lacking something. Mm-hmm. It's real easy to be judgmental when you lacking. I mean, it's easy as fuck. I've done it. Everybody's probably done it. Yeah. When you lacking something, it's very easy to judge others, and you start to judge everybody around you because I don't know, because they're younger than you, maybe because they got something you don't. But yeah, I definitely think around that age, people start to, this little dark bubble inside of them starts to grow. You know what I mean? Because of them lacking something.
Yeah, and because of how they feel about themselves.
Yeah, ultimately, yes. And they don't know how to address it.
Absolutely.
So it manifests into like this everyday attitude.
Yeah.
Of over it. I'm over it.
Yeah, this 30 don't look like I literally saw this girl post what everybody think 25 look like what people expect when you tell them that you're 25, and it was literally this old woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, youth is it's like a glorified, and I'm trying to think of a word, but like,
yeah, it's definitely glorified into the way that we feel like it is it's like all the time I used to hear like these are the best parts of your life. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm looking back now like
kind of the
worst. Kind of worse. But and I think the fear is like a lot of people who are older in age, they be fear of like they don't want to start because they think it's too late. But you can start late and finish strong. There's literally a book called Start Late, Finish Strong.
And I noticed that people who are successful don't really care about age.
Yes.
Like, why would I, like, you know what I'm saying?
Why care about it?
Versus people who do care about age, it stops them from following their dreams and doing the things that they want to do.
Yes. And then I know we got a lot of listeners that like really young.
We do.
I be seeing some of y'all. I see some of y'all not like You may like a post or a comment, something. I go to the page and see what like they into and stuff like that. And I was so confused at first. It's some old shit, maybe. I don't know, or just me. It's really just some me shit. Cause I ain't really a big internet person at
Yeah,
all.
you're an old
Things
soul.
confuse me all the time. Like somebody asked me
Oh
the,
my
like the other
God.
day. I posted a like outfit on TikTok, and somebody said pants
Question mark.
with a question mark, and I was so puzzled. I didn't know what to respond. I thought he was trying to make fun of me, like, look at his pants.
And so
that's when
I
you
went
have
on
to-
there and I'm
yeah.
like, babe, I see you comment like responding to everybody else.
Why you reply?
Why didn't you reply to like
Pants.
pants? You was like, all
I
he
don't-
said was pants. I'm like, he's asking, where are your pants
Why wouldn't he
from?
just say where they from?
That's what they do. They be like pants.
That's what they do.
Shirt.
See? And like I said, that ain't me being old. That's
Hat.
just me not knowing the internet like that. I'm not. I know my page may look good, but I am not an internet person like that. I don't understand like a lot of the phrases people use.
I have to Google a lot of the phrases.
A lot of shit that y'all use.
And that's okay.
But my point is, I went to some of y'all pages and he said like JHS. And I was like, what the fuck is a J?
High
H?
school.
And when I finally realized some of these little niggas in high school still, it blew my mind that first off somebody young wanted to hear me speak.
Yeah.
But if I had to say anything to anybody young, don't let your age hold you back. If you actually know what you want to do, go do that shit.
No matter how young you are, no matter if you 70, like do it. I know many people who I personally know people who did not go for what they wanted to go for, and they're older.
Yes.
And they're miserable, they're sad,
They
depressed.
didn't do it. They
you know what
didn't
I'm
do
saying?
it. And then when you're young, don't listen to the shit that they tell you. Don't listen to them when they tell you too young to know love. I met my soulmate. I was 18.
I was 16.
Like, don't listen to people when they tell you too young. Our
Yeah.
age sound like it's far apart, but I was just one grade ahead of you.
Yeah, I know. I was 17 when I graduated, though.
Oh yeah. I don't know why it seems like it's so far apart. But anyways, yes, go for it. It's okay to be a younger person with a as we call it, like an old soul.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want a club, don't club. If you don't want the drugs, don't do the drugs. If you don't want the alcohol, don't do it.
Yeah, it just so. Where do you think shame like derives from?
I think first off, childhood trauma, healing the inner child. That's something we speak about all the time because the beginning of a story sets up so much of the back. If you start watching the movie in the middle, you're not gonna understand so much of the plot. I think that's why we speak about healing the inner child so much. The beginning of your story matters so much.
I love how you relate. There's a word in literature that I can't in grammar, but how you make like you be like water. You have to water that gift, or
Yeah.
I love how you do that. It's amazing. It's literally a gift.
Thank you.
And I forgot the second thing I had to say to you, but keep it up. Keep up the good work.
The next thing I think that can produce shame is lack, not having. And this is like physical, spiritual, like it's whatever you want to obtain but you don't have now
Yeah,
can bring shame.
definitely.
After that, expectations.
For sure.
Some ones that society sets on us, family sets on us, and the
Ones we
ones
put ourselves.
we put on ourselves as well.
I think too, thinking about expectations and shame, I feel like shame is more of an inner battle than anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because like I said before, we may have done something and it's still weighing heavy on us, but the next person's not even thinking about it
Yeah, they're
anymore.
not even. Most of the time, what people do to us, we think about a lot more than they do.
Yeah.
It's because like I said, it sits with us more. We were the affected, not the agitator. So it hits us a lot different.
For sure.
I think the last place that like shame comes from is like unexpected exposure. It's like when you unwanted or unexpected, when you get put on the spot about something, or you just weren't ready to unleash that thing, and now the situation is here.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, for sure.
That, I mean, it triggers. That trigger happens so fast that like sometimes you don't know what the fuck to do. You go into fight or
fight or flight.
Yeah, fight or flight. You know what I mean? And like I said, it comes upon you so quickly that you left like a deer in headlights, not knowing what to say or do.
Yes.
And you just kind of go. Shame physically can look like going into a sunken place, like shoulders dropped, head down, like you are sinking into yourself because you ultimately want to get away.
Yeah. shame, it looks like that, and it can really have a big effect on your self-confidence and your self-worth and just how you feel about yourself in general. So it's definitely something that's important to work through. I think that shame and guilt, they kind of go hand in hand, but I feel like you can get these two confused. They're not synonyms. They're not the same thing.
No, they are not.
Let me go back. Guilt is more so saying like, I made a mistake.
Yes.
But shame is identifying, like becoming and embodying that thing, like I am a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm unworthy, you know?
I get that. Like, guilt is I broke the law. Shame is I'm a criminal. Like, it's career. Like,
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's who you are now. And yeah, when you feel guilty about something, you acknowledging that like you did it wrong. Like you said, it's a one-time thing. It's one off.
It's not as deep.
It's not as deep.
It doesn't have as big of an effect as shame.
Now, shame could last, like I said, it's a long-lasting thing. That could last a lifetime.
It could if you let it. And letting go of identities.
Yeah.
There is a book called Becoming Supernatural. And by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and in one of the chapters when he's talking about like meditation and releasing and going beyond, what's in front of you and becoming supernatural, he talks about letting go of all of your identities. I think a lot of us, and I've said this before, we've literally said this before, we're also attached to identities. Mom, being a mom, being a photographer, whatever the case may be, but we're also attached to the shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the negative narratives that we use to identify ourselves. And we have to release all of that. If we really want to, go beyond ourselves and experience all the goodness and the abundance that's for us, we have to let go and release these identities.
Yeah, I love that. You put that out there very beautifully. Good job,
Really? Thank you. That is so kind.
And yeah, like to add on to the identities, like if you are clinging to an identity, when it starts to go left, you'll start to you'll do too much. You'll start to reach for things and it starts to look bad on your half. If you're a person that identify with if you a guy who built your whole thing on having money, when you start losing money, you're going to start doing things that's not so real about keeping money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, you see it all the time. Like we see it all the time in pop culture when a star starts to fade, they've identified with that.
Yes.
That's when all of the shit starts to happen. They start to, overdo things and shit like that. And it can get really ugly really fast.
And the thing about identity, it's ego based.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily with love in
not
a
at
sense.
All. For the most part, most identities are built around love.
Yeah, they are not. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying most of them not. No,
Okay,
most identities not built around love at all.
Yeah, for sure. So just keep that in mind. We want to move with the heart, not the ego.
Absolutely.
To end this episode, we want to talk about how to overcome shame and, kind of just how we're overcoming it. Yeah, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, and I think the first step in overcoming shame, like I say, is acknowledging.
For sure.
You can't tackle the elephant in the room until you acknowledge that it's there. And be honest with yourself, be real, and you can like I said, start the process of healing this. But you can't heal a wound that you don't want to address.
Absolutely. I think a lot of us spend so much time in denial.
Absolutely.
I don't know that I ever, it's been a long time coming, and I'm finally realizing wow, I was ashamed of being a mother at a young age.
Yeah.
So honestly, you just got to be real with yourself, and it may take some time to really come about the things that you're ashamed of, and not the things that you're ashamed of, but the things that are really affecting your experience and affecting your potential on this earth. You know what I'm saying? Acknowledge that shit,
Yeah, and I think a lot of times knowing yourself is help you acknowledge, because
Facts.
A simple way is everybody's had a small cut somewhere on their body, and you never feel it until you see it and you acknowledge it.
Here you go. And you're right. You spit facts.
Yeah, that's
here you
happened
go
to everybody
with
before.
your...
It'd be a small cut on the hand. you won't know it until you see
Like a
damn,
paper cut. Yeah,
a
I've
paper
done
cut.
that.
And then you see it, and then all of a sudden you can feel it, and you need to like address it and heal it, and you go get a Band-Aid or whatnot.
I'll tell you what. Next episode, I'm gonna have a word, the correct grammar word for what it is that you do all the time. With
Parables?
Is it parables?
That's the word you're looking for?
It's been a long time since I've had English.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's you always got like you cut yourself and you're doing this and I love it. I love that for you, and I love that for me and for everybody who's listening.
Okay. And then going into the second step that we have with it all is taking responsibility.
Absolutely. When you first told me that, I was like,
man,
well, what am I taking responsibility?
Yeah, what is it? But like, just to address the two shames, like that we brought about moms with age, like I have to take some responsibility, like in my life, of course. Like if it didn't go the way I wanted, it's because of the decisions that I made. You know, I personally feel like I spent too much time working for other people and not enough time working on myself in my 20s, and that's what like disturbed it. I worked so much in my 20s. Like
you spent a lot of time surviving.
Yeah, I spent so much time surviving. I spent, hours upon hours at these places working and try to provide for my family, but I should have been working on myself. And that would have helped my family out so much more in the long run. I should have invested in myself more.
Yeah.
And I take responsibility for that.
I get that.
Absolutely. And even in the other part, like with your shame, you talking about us having a kid early, like we got to take responsibility in that. Like we was the ones in that bed, like nobody was in there with us. Like it was us who didn't have a preventative measure, or we didn't have no going on. So it was we take responsibility. Like we was young parents because of us,
the decisions that we made. And when you put it like that, taking responsibility makes total sense.
Yeah, it takes total sense because we can't be I had a kid.
And that's
because my mom had me at young, like,
and that's a whole nother episode too. Like blaming people for
what's going. Yeah, that's another episode. We write that down.
Child, write it down. But yeah, just you take responsibility. Like we have to. I know so many people in my personal life who blame others for, things that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Have the reason why X, Y, and Z happened to them, but at some point. You have to take responsibility, and when you take responsibility, it gives you a power in a sense. You feel more in control.
Yes, that you can change.
Exactly.
You can change it all.
Yes.
And once you have assumed that responsibility, assumed that power, forgive yourself.
Absolutely.
Forgive yourself. You didn't know. That's the bit. Like you had no idea. I had no idea that working all them hours wasn't gonna give me the life that I wanted for my family. I had no idea that. I just didn't. I was doing what I saw other people do around me, and I took the advice from my parents and what I thought society thought should be doing. Like I made wrong turns and whatnot, and I forgive myself. I was so young. If I could go back and hug me, I'll let that little black boy cry all over my chest. You know what I mean?
Me too. Like, and you have forgiven me. I've forgiven you. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's easier to forgive others than it is to forgive ourselves. And forgiving yourself, like it releases so much shame, so much negativity, so much trauma, you know what I'm saying? And just empathizing with yourself, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Don't be so hard on you.
Exactly.
We give everybody else so many breaks.
So much grace.
Like we give everybody else so much grace. Like give the same to yourself, because if nobody deserves your kindness, you do. Whew. Above all people, you deserve your kindness.
Facts.
And our last beautiful mention is release.
And be vulnerable.
Let it out. If you want to tell somebody, that's your letting it out. Like me today, I've let it out. I feel better.
Definitely.
I do. I feel a lot better.
Me too.
Releasing it and letting it be. And like I said, being vulnerable and not letting that darkness sit inside you anymore and bring it to the light. Can really bring an empowerment to your life. Yes.
When I say that this podcast feels like therapy and just healing for us, I really mean it. We get on this podcast every week and we expose ourselves. We talk about what we've been through. We're vulnerable. We show up and we are vulnerable. You know what I mean? And the thing about vulnerability, we create so many connections through vulnerability. Vulnerability is literally the gateway to connection
and making a community.
and community. You want to build a community? Be vulnerable.
If you want a lane for yourself,
Be vulnerable.
be vulnerable. People love it. People connect with it. It makes you human.
Yes.
It gives your experience the right to connect to someone else's.
Yes, some of the most iconic art and, creativity is from what?
Vulnerability, releasing,
Vulnerability.
and really putting it out there to the world. And being honest with yourself can really, like I said, make this lane such a traffic-free area for you.
For sure. It's like literally when you're vulnerable, it's killing two birds in one stone. You are releasing,
Yes,
and you're healing from that experience, but you're also building connection.
and it's also like you almost building a true identity, a
Yes.
true one, not a artificial one that we would like to share with the world, so people believe that we are what we want them to believe we are.
Yeah.
But a true one that you can walk in every single day and feel comfortable.
100%.
And did you have a little bit of affirmations for these good people?
I think I had a little bit of
You got a little-
affirmations, bro. I think this episode deserves. I think every
Yes.
episode deserves songs, but especially this episode. So let's get into it.
Let's hear 'em.
Bow
Bow your heads.
Here we go. Bow your heads.
Bow
Close
your
your
heads,
eyes. Open your hearts.
Close your email.
Close your email. I am enough. I am enough. I'm worthy. I'm worthy of abundance. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of releasing and letting go. Cause that baggage is not mine. You know what I'm saying? Letting it go. I am not my mistakes. I am not my mistakes. The mic touched my mouth when I had my eyes closed and it scared me. But I am not my mistakes, and there's so much beauty, so much growth on the other side of vulnerability. And today I'm going to show up and be vulnerable with myself and with those around me, because through vulnerability, I can create true connection. Amen.
Amen.
Thank y'all so much for joining us once again. We love y'all so much. Sending you so much peace, so much love, so much abundance, and everything you need in this moment. Are you going to say bye to them?
I usually say bye, did I say?
Bye. Mwah.
Peace.